Hello and welcome to Anthropology 311. This is Designing Your Future. My name is Tracy Ludke. I'm the professor for this course. So primarily I just wanted to welcome you. And I do, in this brief video, want to also orient you to our D2L site and walk you through our syllabus so you know what's coming and you know how to move forward. So that's really pretty much all we're going to do in this little video right now. Okay, here we are on our D2L site. The home page you can see is a general overview of the course, and it also provides my student office hours. So how you can contact me or where you can go, or you can also get to me through Zoom during those hours, and also my email address. So please make sure to make use of that contact. I'm always happy to hear from you if you have questions about the course or really anything else connected to the subject of what we're doing in Anthropology 311. The course is called Designing Your Future because it's really about providing a space for students who are near the end of their time at Northeastern to start doing some thinking and planning about what comes after graduation. One of my main principles for this course is to encourage you not just to think about what am I going to do in the month or year immediately after I graduate, but where do I want to end up down the line? Where do I want to be in 10 years or even 20 years? Meaning, starting to think about the trajectory of your work life in terms of a career, not just the first job you're going to get out of school, okay? That first job is also really important, and we'll talk about thinking about how to apply for jobs, etc. But you also want to be thinking about what are all the kind of steps you need to make early on in your career development that will put you in a position to ultimately get the kind of bigger job that you want to get down the line. Okay, so we'll work on all those things, but particularly with a goal of having a kind of plan for the upcoming years. What am I going to do now, but what are the things I need to put in place so that, again, in 5, 10, 15 years, I can really land where I want to be. That is in a career that's not only going to take care of my day-to-day needs, but also is interesting, exciting, has room for growth, is inspiring, hopefully, right? So with a little bit of luck, we'll make sure everybody sort of gets on a path towards a really great career that they really want to do. Okay, so this is just our homepage. You probably know, I'm sure all of you have used D2L, that the main way to navigate around D2L is these tabs on the top. So the next one in the line is content. This is probably the most important of these tabs. This is where the main content of the course is. So you'll see here there's a table of contents on the left-hand side, and that will lead you through all the units of the course. And each of those units, underneath that unit, has all the materials you'll need. The readings, the video lectures, the assignments, etc. As you know, this is an online course. So what that means is we're never going to meet in the same place at the same time. It's totally asynchronous. So what that means is it's going to be really important for you to know how to find sort of where we're at in the course and keep up with the appropriate work that's due at that time. All right. Since we're not going to meet once a week or anything like that. I will, of course, be checking in with you, sending you emails, posting videos, things like that. But it's going to be important for you to sort of keep track of the schedule and make sure that you follow it on your own. Okay. So again, you see down here the subjects we're going to move through. In this very first section, the Start Here section, is where you can find our syllabus. I'm going to show you that now briefly. This is the most important document in the course. It gives you the complete outline of everything we're going to do in this course, right? Bear in mind that this is a 1 credit hour, 8-week course. So that means it goes by pretty quickly. It's half the length of a typical semester-long course. So again, very important to keep an eye on this syllabus and where we are in our schedule. Okay, so the syllabus. Again, lots of sort of general information at the top, and then you'll get into our weekly schedule. So here we are in that first unit that we're going to be jumping right into in this first week of the term, where we're starting to think about life after graduation, right? One of the things we're going to do right away is, even as we're thinking about what's in the future, take a few moments to reflect on, what have you already accomplished? What are the interests you've already identified? What are the skills you already have? So sort of taking an inventory of all the things you've done, the things you've learned about yourself, the things you're good at, the things you like, and using that as the basis to start charting a path forward. Okay, so that's where we'll start in Unit 1. We'll extend that into Unit 2 when you'll start thinking about, based on those things that I like, that I've done, that I want to continue doing, what are some of the possible careers that I might pursue? Again, we'll take the approach not just that there's sort of one path, but there's lots of possibilities. And it's important to think through what you want to do, what you want to spend a big chunk of your time doing, and what would be a good fit for you. When we get into Unit 3, we'll get more specific. Toward the end of what I mentioned just before, that I think it's important to think down the line, we're going to do some researching of those career goals. So again, not just the job you can get right now, right out of school, but what's the job you want to be able to get in 10 years? And what are all the things you need to do between now and then to get there? Do you need to go to graduate school? Do you need to get experience, right? Whatever it may be, starting to figure that out so you can plan accordingly. We will talk about graduate school and making the decision of whether it makes sense for you to go to graduate school, in what field, for what degree, when. All of those are really important decisions. The primary sort of writing or producing that you will do in this course is documents related to what you'll do after graduation. So for some of you, that'll be resumes and cover letters. And for some of you, that could be a statement of purpose for applying to graduate school. For some of you, it might be both, right? But I basically, in this course, give you the option of really focusing on your resume and cover letter or focusing on your statement of purpose. So we'll start talking about what resumes should look like, what makes for a good resume, etc., and you'll start drafting those. We will also talk about jobs to some extent. As I say, each of you is probably on a different career path, so you're going to do some amount of researching your own interests. But we will also talk about, what are some of the things that's a good idea to do early in your career to set yourself up for an enriching career down the road. And some of that is stuff like internships and volunteering. We'll also talk about networking, right? Knowing people who already have the kinds of jobs you want or who are at least in the field are important. And that includes networking with students you know right now at Northeastern and for professors in your area of interest, as well as graduates, right? So using the Northeastern network is also a real resource. And finally, we'll end up with, we're going to contribute to a wiki. This is a wiki that's been a part of this course, Anthropology 311, for multiple years now. So we have the students who participate in this course add to that wiki. And it's about basically what you've learned and what you're thinking about doing in the future. Both what you've learned about what makes for a good resume, how to find the job you want, what you get out of doing an internship, et cetera, et cetera. So our idea here is to pass that knowledge on from students to students over time. Okay, so that's our syllabus. And again, this is located in the content area. You'll see there's these other tabs across the top. So we will be doing some discussions. You can find them here. You will, of course, have assignments to turn in. You can find those assignment folders here. There's no quizzes. If you need to get hold of a classmate, you can use this class list. And the grade book is here. It's where you can keep track of how you're doing in the course. Okay, let's go back really quickly, talk about what you're doing next. I've talked a little bit about the syllabus, shown you sort of what it looks like. I strongly encourage you in these first couple of days of our course to take a little bit of time and carefully read the syllabus. You need to be clear not only on what the course is about, is it a good fit for you, but things like policies, right? So for example, when you read the syllabus, you'll see that there's a very specific and strict AI use policy in this course. There's no allowed usage of any kind of AI. No ChatGPT, no Grammarly. So please understand that all the work that you'll be doing in this course is going to be 100% created by you, right? One of the very points of the course is for you to find your own voice as you present yourself to the world. And if you're relying on artificial intelligence, you're really not going to be able to do that very effectively, okay? So no AI allowed in the course. Again, please read the syllabus to see the full extent of that policy. All right, so again, it's a short course. We're only here for 8 weeks, so we're going to jump right in. So you'll see that for the very first unit of the course, which is the one that you're going to be working on this week, this first week of the semester, you've got a few things to do, okay? You're going to read a chapter by the author Brooks. You are going to do an introduction too. That's sort of the very, very first thing, right? That's pretty easy. Just introduce yourself to the class and then respond to some other students. But the more substantive thing you're going to be doing this first week is reading this Brooks chapter. And then there's an assignment that's included in what Brooks says. And it's creating something called a wandering map. What it's about, which you'll read about in the chapter, is, again, really thinking about what have I done so far? What are the skills that I've developed? Not just at Northeastern. Include that too, but it can be other things you've done in the rest of your life. What are things I know I'm really passionate about, etc. And starting to put those all together and think about what they lead to, right? So in other words, not starting from the premise that if you do this major, you go get this kind of job. Sometimes that's the case. A lot of the times that's just one of many possibilities. So this exercise, this wandering map exercise, hopefully will help you think about who you are, what you've done, what you're interested in, and use that as a basis for what we're going to talk about for the rest of the course, okay? So you'll see here the instructions. This will link you directly to the folder where you'll submit your assignment, and you're going to be doing that by the end of this week. Okay, well, I think that's a good enough introduction. Again, at any time, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You have my email address in the syllabus, on the homepage of the D2L, our D2L site, etc. So don't be shy. Please feel free to use it. Okay, we'll stop there and I'll check in again soon. Take care.